day and night. I toss and turn, I keep stressing my mind. I look for peace, but see I don't attain. What I need for keeps this silly game we play. Now look at this. Madness, the magnet keeps attracting me. I try to run, but see I'm not that fast. I think I'm first, but surely finish last. Cause day and night, the lonely stoner seems to free his mind at night. He's all alone through the day and night. The lonely loner seems to free his mind at night. At night. Hold the phone. The lonely stoner.
Boom! We are back, and what an intro, Daz, to welcome us back to Top Table Talk. The 25-26 season is upon us, and there's only one way to do it, and it's Top Table Talk. And we've got the panel back to discuss it all. Yeah, that intro was absolutely fire.
Where was I?
You were first on.
Oh, was I? I didn't see it.
Yeah, you missed it.
I missed it. Wait, replay. By the way, Dan, you look about 30 years younger, and then Dan looks like a criminal. Like,
I tell you what, if we can, Dad, we'll play it out at the end. We'll play it out at the end, and then you can see it. You might not be here.
Yeah, I had to leave the Conference League in Wolfie because I wasn't quite sure how that would go.
oh shit, you're good thing I didn't see it then, bro. That's my boy Adam. What are you saying, bro?
What's
Hey,
up? It's been a while.
I missed you.
There you go.
It's been a while, boys. Welcome back to the new season of Top Table Talk. Everyone good? Everyone happy? Everyone had a good summer? I see Dan. Look, I'm going to start with you, Dan, because clearly you've had a good summer because the shades are on, mate. So somebody's happy right now.
I'm glad you asked, Pete. I'm glad you asked.
Okay, talk to us then. Come on.
No, it's been phenomenal. It's been a summer that I don't think any Manchester United logically would have fucking dreamed of. Come from being kicked out of football's 12th man, which just pains me to watch William sit there witter on about absolute nonsense. But, you know, my time will come to get back there and talk to this lad. And Robert, I'm on top of the table talk, mate, because we've been buying decent players. Yeah, look, let's not get ahead of ourselves. That's just me, obviously, taking the piss. But United have been good. We've had a great summer. It's been a fantastic summer personally. Started my YouTube channel up with the help of a lot of people here. Wolfie has been at the end of the phone some nights for hours, literally hours.
It's not working.
It's good. It's transfer-wise, which I'm sure we'll get onto in a bit. Manchester United, dare I say, for once, doing things okay.
Absolutely.
Wow.
What do we think of that?
To say to that? I've got so much to say to that.
What silverware do you get for winning the transfer window?
Adam, cry more, mate, when we get the Labour up the road, yeah? Yeah?
He's got already.
Is Scruffy Jim gonna rob a few more people's dinner money from the canteen ladies to fund?
Sorry, Charlie. If I wanted to know about someone whose club in France fucking lost purposely so that Chelsea get the Champions League, mate, I'd come and ask you.
The conspiracy nonsense. You can tell Chelsea are back because we're now hated again, which is fantastic.
Oh no! Don't start that. Don't start that. Charlie. Hold on. Charlie has spent all summer talking about Newcastle United. He didn't care one dot about Chelsea in their side.
I did, man. I had a great time in New York, enjoying becoming.
Yeah, you came to my neck of the woods.
I did.
Didn't say hi. Look at this.
Well, to be honest,
we were at the same game, mate.
I didn't know you lived there.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
You went radio silence
my
after the
tweets.
Club World Cup, though. You went radio silence after the Club World Cup, and all I've heard is Newcastle this, Newcastle that, Newcastle the other.
Mate, everything's in order in my house. It's all good. I can look out proudly.
Apart from the Wi-Fi, yeah.
All right, let me start again. Let me come in. Hold on.
I thought that was mine all over again. I was
Fuck,
like,
that's over, man.
meltdown.
Yeah, I was gonna say that used to be you, Dan. Now you've had a good transfer window. You're HD and everything, bro.
Well, speaking of good transfer windows, it looks like you've invested in some AV equipment here, Wolfie. Your setup looks pretty slick. What have you done here?
Well, you know what it is, Adam. Once you get upgraded from the Conference League,
Yeah, you got that
rightly
Europa League
so.
money. Look at this.
Yeah, you got that Europa League money. You know what I'm saying? You invest in the team and what have you. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no conference level here.
Nice. It's
Ain't no
looking
conference
nice. Yeah.
level.
We're better, Charlie, by the way.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
We're in. Where do you want to start, boys? Rich is going to join us. Aston Villa fan is going to join us soon. Is going to be jumping on. Where do we want to start? Like,
Can I start with an apology?
Oh, there you go.
God, this.
I want to apologize.
This.
I want to apologize to Adam
Okay.
because I was, holding some certain smoke against your club last season, but this summer, my eyes have been open, bro, and I get to see why you guys detest Crystal Palace, or should I call them Cry Still Palace, because they're still crying. And I just want to apologize to you, bro. I found some new respect for your club, for your morals, for your ethics. And, this is my first public apology on YouTube. And I just want to say sorry to you, Adam, mate. And I wish you a very
are
good
people
season.
recording this? This will be saved, right?
This will be saved.
Because when Wolf is hurling me abuse, saying my club is pathetic and it's got no fan base and history, I want to come back to this. I want to play this back, but I appreciate it at the same time. Palace, what the funniest thing about the Palace thing is, obviously they've had a very successful, trophy season last year, and then they've just won basically a glorified friendly the other day. But they're being pillaged. Like you've seen the rumors, Gahey now, Liverpool trying to come in for him. It looks like Eze's going to go.
It's headed to Newcastle. I've seen that one. Yeah.
They're going to be ravaged, and the European football thing just makes it even funnier. And you must be absolutely over the moon.
Well, I've apologized to you. I'm still waiting for the thank you for what we did to your rivals, bro.
Well, did you do it, or were you just the beneficiary?
No, we were exactly. Thank you. Thank you for saying that, Adam. Again, this gives me newfound respect for you because they did it to themselves. They did it to themselves. And they actually have the audacity to blame my club, Deji style, when the finger should be pointing at that big nose twat that is Parish, man. And they're still crying about it today. Like, seriously. Like, get your house in order. Check your emails. Check your emails. We saw D last night, didn't check his emails. He was half an hour late for coming on to Potts' show. So there's a whole email issue going on in that Palace fan base. Check your emails. It's not hard.
Well, look, I appreciate the apology. Lovely outcome for me to see. And it's not, Forest's good fortune continues, I suppose. So, yeah, another big year for you. How do you guys feel about, obviously, Alanga's made the switch, the one signing Newcastle have decided to sort of see through. How are you feeling about that?
We got Dan Doy, and I've been impressed with him so far. We are about to open up the wallet and get a crap load more players. McAtee coming in. Who else we got? Oh yeah, Igor Jesus is in. Very good striker.
Mate.
Yeah, my boy. And Jair Cunha and Marinakis has said that he's been holding back until Palace get their slapping. And we're about to see the window get opened up, and Marinakis going to do Marinakis things. So I'm slightly optimistic. I would have liked it to move quicker. I'm not going to lie to you. Get me Douglas Luiz, and I'm very happy.
Might finish top half with that.
So,
finish top half of that.
Don't listen to. Or we'll say
coming
we might
from
be
the
able
guy who's too scared to say that his club should be in a title race.
No, I said no. I said we're.
Are you going to win the title? Are you going to win the title?
Oh, no, I don't think we will. We'll win a title. Race,
why not? Why not? You're Chelsea, bro. You're meant to be. You're champions of the world. Champions of the world.
We are champions of the world, but I don't think we're quite ready to win the league. We'll be in a title race, but I don't think we'll win the league next season.
Blue Arsenal, phase 3 now.
Because we win trophies, mate.
Yeah, but you're in phases. Yeah, you're doing the phase thing.
No, we've had one season with Maresca. We've picked up 2 trophies, world champions, and now we try and go for the big ones.
By definition, if you don't think you should be winning the title and you're kicking it down to what, next year? Do you think you should win the title next year?
Well, yeah, potentially yes.
Yeah,
You know, we have to
By
win a title in the
definition,
next
you're
2
doing the
years.
face thing, which makes you the blue Arsenal.
No,
So
no.
hold that. Yeah.
No.
Do you actually believe that? Do you believe the world champions thing? Are
Mate,
you actually
that's the official title we've been given for the next 4 years, and we are the world champions.
I'll tell you what it reminds me of. It's when the American football in the NFL, at the end of it, they win the Super Bowl and they say they're world champions. It's like, yeah, no one else played, mate.
No, Adam. The baseball. It's called the World Series. Baseball's World Series.
Yeah,
Baseball World Series.
You're not facing anyone else. It's just your own thing. It's like,
I would guarantee, right? Every single one of you, if your teams had actually qualified for it and you'd won it, you'd be absolutely loving it.
well, for the money, yeah.
How did you qualify?
This is what I said.
There's a criteria. There's a criteria to be reached, and we
Is it the same way that Inter Miami qualified?
No. They were given a space because they want Messi in a tournament. No. We were there on merit because we won the Champions League, and that was the criteria.
You winning the competition where people were given spaces.
Wait. The real question is, do you qualify for it next time round as things stand?
Yes, I think they're sorting that out now. Yeah, you got holders.
As I said, as things stand, Charlie. I didn't say what if that and the other happens. As things stand, as the champions of the world, do you qualify to defend your so-called title?
That's not been confirmed yet.
No. Don't try and play semantics and words and all this.
So right now,
if the tournament started up again today, would Chelsea qualify for it?
No.
No. Okay. Next question.
Okay.
I will say what was horrible for me is I went to that final and I was sat in the bottom right corner. So the first thing that I got to experience was João Pedro running towards me, celebrating the goal, which was like just a stab straight into the heart. Yeah, what a dickhead. Yeah. Never mind.
Right, okay, what I want to ask the question to you boys is, and anyone feel free to come in. Welcome, Rich, by the way. Welcome to Top Table Talk 25-26. Are Chelsea in the title race this season? I know we've had a brief fleeting opinion on this, but I want to kind of have this conversation again. They've gone and spent a lot of money again this summer. They're obviously very, very happy they're in the Champions League. As Charlie keeps telling us, they are the world champions. Are they and should they be in a title race? Two different questions, maybe the same answer or not. What is our opinions on that? Anybody?
That's how much people genuinely think they're in a title race.
They are in the title race.
They're not in the title race.
Of course we are.
How do you know they're not in the title race?
Okay, then so are we then. If you're going by that logic.
No, mate, you're not in the title race.
Games of football this season. Charlie, honestly now, with chest, how close to the top, I'm talking to being number one, is your squad at this point in time?
That title race.
No,
hear me out.
We need a top goalkeeper, and I think we need one more top centre back. So I think we're 2 players away from being genuine title winners.
Two more players.
Yeah.
Okay. How many players have you signed this summer? Just a question.
4. We signed Delap, Gittins, Pedro, and Jarrell Hato.
Okay, and who is the players you're linked with?
Yeah, but you got Estevao. I know he was signed earlier, but
he arrived this summer. We signed him the previous summer.
He's a baller.
Yeah, he's very good. We're linked with Garnacho, unfortunately.
I just wanted to hear you say it. I'm done. I'm finished. Carry on.
Mate, they're not going to pay 50 million, so you either accept our 30 mil or he's going to sit and rot on his wages.
You know how you say
what? Our 50 grand a week of shit is going to sit there and rot for 12 months. Oh, we're terrified. Absolutely terrified.
Wait, Dan, you know how the Chelsea fans always say Arsenal are their bitch, yeah? By definition, would that make them your bitch? Because they did this to Sancho last year as well, didn't they?
It's true.
The only thing I would say is that I seem to remember Wolfie saying that Nottingham Forest were in a title race last season and multiple weeks throughout these shows. So
which we were.
Chelsea have got to be classed as being technically in a title race, as of all of our teams right now.
You're in a title race till you're not. And by the way, Rich, like me and you this season, bro, let's not forget, right? We're on that level. Right? We're from the Europa. Midlands teams. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? The Alliance and all that, right?
Forget about us, Wolfie.
No,
We're
I'm
still
still
in
got
the
I've
race.
just been defending you for 2 hours with that bloody Hussein, man. So yeah, I'm still got your back.
Is there an alliance with Newcastle after the Elanga saga?
I never fully rated Elanga. So.
I don't.
Oh,
Don't even try your revisionism, Pete. Don't you do it, man. Don't you do it. Because
Well, you
you
told
valued him
me-
at 35 million.
You told me when we first talked about it, you'll drive him there. Within
Yeah,
a day, you then turned around and said, "You know what? I don't want him to go. I want him to stay at Forest. I don't want him to leave anyway." And now you're telling me, "Yeah, I didn't really ever rate
Yeah,
him."
because Pete, by that time we'd had about 5 games of shuffleboard, right? There was a lot of smoke in the air and a lot of drinks on the table, right? And I'm just saying,
on my show the other week, and he said, "Do you know what? Maybe Elanga was better than I thought he was." He told me.
yeah.
I thought it was awful.
Yeah.
Okay, but
There
if
you
you think someone's better than you thought he was, does that by definition make him good? Because someone could be really shit, and then you actually thought, they're slightly less shit.
Well, let's put it this way: he's left.
I'm not saying he's shit, by the way.
But he's left, and you can't score any goals.
We really doing pre-season football banter. Like, it doesn't really.
They've been that desperate, Adam.
Okay, let's say 18 goal contributions last season, and then
17.
17. Okay, 17. all right. 17 goal contributions last season, and now you're saying you think he's maybe better than you thought he was. So clearly, he's obviously a better player for that reason.
Well, no. When Charlie asked me, Forest had no right winger at the time, right? So Elanga would be better than no right winger at the time. We've gone and signed Dan Doy. We're getting McAtee, who can play on the right hand side as well. I will say this about Elanga, and this is my honest opinion on him. He is unplayable when he's in the purple patch, but when he's not in the purple patch, he's synonymous on the pitch at times. That's my frustration with him. I don't think, and I think maybe Dan would be able to talk on him as well. He's experienced him. The thing I always heard from Dan and United fans was he just hasn't reached his potential. That's why he had to leave Man U. He was starting to show signs of reaching potential, but there wasn't the consistency. His consistency came when we played you, Rich. Remember at the City ground, he came on and suddenly he went on fire for a period. Before that, he wasn't great. In the latter end of the season, well, I think we should have relied on him to get us over the line. He was synonymous for me. But in that purple patch period, he was by far and away the best player on the pitch there. By far and away. If you can unlock that consistency from Elanga, then you got a hell of a player. But I think Dan would probably say he was inconsistent at United as well. He's got a track record of it.
Who isn't at United? I mean, I was saying, I asked this question the other day, a few people who have been at United in the last decade that's gone to that club and left it a better player.
No one.
This is not a single player, And you
Mason
could argue maybe
Greenwood.
Bruno Fernandes, if he left tomorrow, be the only exception, and he'd probably be better elsewhere. Not a single player.
I don't know. Billy would have you, not Billy. Sorry. Well, Billy would have you believe Rashford, and Charlie would have you believe Sancho. To be fair,
Rashford a better player now.
To be honest, they were arguing that yesterday, and I didn't get it.
I'm not even being serious, mate. I'm not even being serious.
Yes, I don't know about Elanga as a signing. I think he benefited really nicely from Nuno's system, speed merchant on the counter.
Yeah,
and you guys aren't going to have that same privilege. But it would be nice to see him pass to his countrymen.
Oh, I've got one.
Craft, yeah.
Come on, Scott McTominay.
Yeah.
Ballon d'Or, by the way.
Ballon d'Or McTominay, yeah.
As in, what I'm talking about, left the club a better player. At the time, he left the club down on his form. No one really wanted him. Someone took
Absolute highs.
Now
Absolute highs. We loved him.
Now he's a world beater.
We thought he was the second coming at him.
Anthony, no one wants to go to. He's amazing. Like, it's just as soon as you leave Man United, you suddenly become everything that everyone dreamed of.
I feel like you're doing this. You're offsetting here because of the Belabour talk. I feel this is where this is coming from.
You can have Belabour.
We will have Belabour. We will have. There's no you can. We will have
confidence.
You got to pay
Manchester United. Why
Manchester United are back.
What? No, I didn't say we're back. Rich, don't put words in my mouth.
You did at the start.
Why wouldn't I be confident? Every player that we've gone for this summer has shown an interest in coming to Manchester United, and we've signed them. So
Yeah,
That's bollocks. That's bollocks. That's bollocks.
Which one of those did you buy?
Where's the lap? Where's the lap?
Delap, sitting on the bench at Chelsea, brilliant, good for him.
Okay, so what you just said there was bollocks then.
No, it's not bollocks. It's absolutely
You didn't go in for
Yeah, it
Delap.
wasn't factually
We did
true.
go into Delap, but what I'm saying is every player we've gone in for this summer, the transfer way we've done it, yes, you can keep Delap, that's fine. But every other player we've gone for, it has gone absolutely swimmingly. So, of course, we're
accept
doing
Delap
things the right
now,
way.
yeah?
I literally just said that, Wolfie. Literally just said that.
I mean, it doesn't.
Yeah,
you-
Donnarumma.
People saying Donnarumma, where have United actually put a bid in for him? Like, where have United actually expressed interest? You've had people saying, oh, yeah, they're interested. You've had Fabrizio, the tap-in merchant, trying to generate as much. Manchester United...
Did you go in for Gyökeres? Did you go in for Gyökeres?
I don't know. I don't think we did.
Oh, he
Nah,
doesn't
mate,
know.
no, they didn't get him, so they didn't go for him.
No. There was no. Hang fire. Sorry, I haven't been on a panel show for so long, so I forget how we do this.
Rusty.
But I am rusty. Manchester United were utilised in the bid for Gyökeres the day before the Here We Go, but United knew that he wasn't coming to him. It wouldn't take a fucking rocket scientist to know that Gyökeres was never coming to United. Never.
Don't make me dig up your streams on Gyökeres, bro.
What do you mean?
You know you're a YouTuber now. You leave these things a trail.
Hey,
They're called
go
receipts.
back through all of them.
They're
Go
called
back through-
receipts.
Hey, I tell you what, literally every fucking second of them, go back through them. I can sit here with chest out and say I never said that we were gonna sign him. I said that we were interested, but I said ultimately it would be Arsenal because that is who we wanted. Because it was the same story with Mbeumo. Simple.
It's
You
worked
were working
out.
for him as well.
Do you think Sesko's going to be
you were
decent?
working for Gyökeres
Well,
at one
sorry?
stage.
Do you think Sesko will be decent? Like, banter aside, you actually think he'll be good?
Mate, I wanted, and you can definitely ask Wolfie this because he's been on streams with me. I wanted Watkins all the way through. I didn't change my pace. I wanted Watkins all the way through for what we were trying to do. Sesko hasn't scored more than 14 league goals in a season. That concerns me.
Yeah,
That
fitting
does
great.
concern me. But it's one of them, isn't it? What can you do? You've just got to give the faith, I suppose.
Well, so it's going to be him and Zirkzee because Rasmus is going to be off.
Yeah, with Chido Obi coming up as well.
Is that not a bit light still?
Well, I mean, you had a season with Jackson, mate, so you can't talk to me about
Yeah,
that.
and you got the crap as your backup, man. I mean,
Honestly,
seriously.
and it's shameless, by the way, that you're coming to me going, Manchester United are better accept 30 million or nothing, and you're slapping an 80 million
No,
fucking
we
fee
won't
on
get-
Jackson.
we won't
What a
get
load
80
of tosh.
We won't
Don't-
get 80 million.
Don't talk ill of Jackson. That's Newcastle superstar Nicholas.
Yeah,
Jackson,
he-
mate.
No.
Yeah, the talks have taken place.
Adam, you can't say the J word on this channel, bro. You
Yeah,
can't say the J word. Yeah.
Talks have taken place. Facts.
Adam, what are you doing here? Like, don't talk about it. Do not do that.
It's
right?
gonna happen. You've heard me on this podcast before. I've said Nicholas Jackson is one of the worst strikers I've witnessed playing football. I maintain that opinion. If you get him, it would be very, very funny. The drop off is that.
Can we not talk that into existence, please? He is still a Chelsea player, and I think all of us on this panel hope that he still remains that way. Because I know that.
Oh,
Charlie
and by the way, Pete, I've told Charlie for years he is a pile of shit.
He's
and
not.
that shameless guy there still tries to defend him.
Yeah.
He still tries to defend him. Would you start him ahead of Delap?
Pretty
or
easy to
Pedro?
defend Jackson. So
Sorry, we'd start. Well, I mean, if he stays, he stays. Great, and he'll be reintegrated back into the squad, and he'll make a contribution. If he doesn't stay,
I believe
we
Unai
get-
Emery likes him.
yeah, Emery does like him, but again, Watkins is not going to go, so it's not going to happen.
No,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying.
No,
Emery
Unai
likes
Emery
him.
really likes him. Yeah,
It's so funny how many clubs he's been linked with this summer, man. It's so fucking funny.
I'm telling
And
you, Todd
every
Bolley's got
fan has
dick
got-
pics on
No, no,
every owner, man. He's got one on every owner.
including Strasbourg. Oh wait, sorry, they're the same, aren't they? Right,
Don't mention Strasbourg.
we'll move back to Man United because I just want to delve in a little bit more, Dan, because you've come with a lot of more confidence than I expected you to tonight. You are confident.
Some might say he's on a mission. Some might say he's on a mission.
They say absolutely, as it reads at the top of each shirt, he is on a mission. You're absolutely
mission
right.
for 13th. Yeah.
And with that, you say that, Adam. You say that. they've invested heavily in players. They've invested heavily in lots of players, and Brian Mbeumo, Mateus Cunha, Benjamin Sesko. They're looking at Belieber. Who else have you signed this summer? You signed anyone else?
Well, Diego Leon, but he was signed in January.
But he was already done then. So with that, is there an expectation now that Champions League football is acquired this season? That's the question I've got for you, Dan. And for anyone else with an opinion on that, jump in.
Okay, so I have this idea with Manchester United, and I'm going to stand by it. We get Belabor, absolutely brilliant, but unfortunately, we are going to be stuck with Onana, and that is a big, big crisis in itself.
You have to keep him to get Labour, the Cameroon connection, mate. You got to keep him.
No, Adam, I was saying we sign a keeper and just keep him on as a bloody retainer for signing players. He's
Agent Onana is decent.
Agent Onana, I'm telling you, but Manchester United, as a bare minimum, have to get Europa League if they get Belabor. They have to. It's as simple as that. I'm not going to sit here and say with the money that we've spent that we can be accepting, languishing and trying to get for 7th or for 8th. We can't. Manchester United have to. Do I believe that the squad is there at the moment? No, of course I don't. Because the problem we've got is simple.
Bruno.
Injuries. Sorry?
Bruno.
No, I agree. But the problem is Manchester United's biggest issue, if we don't get Belabor, we're fucked. And I'll say that because there's no one else that we're looking at being linked with. Douglas Luiz will go to this man's team above me. I don't see who else they can go for that can do a job. Adam Wharton, too much money. It'd be English tax on there, so we'd have no chance of that. So I feel like Manchester United, as much as we've done things the right way with transfers this season, if they don't get this one over the line, they are going to have so much egg on their face because at the end of the day, that midfield now, people are saying about the defence and, you should be worried about the defence. Actually, the defence don't worry me as much as my central midfield. My central midfield at the moment is so imbalanced, it is unreal. We watched, we played Bournemouth, we played West Ham, played okay against them, but these are two teams that have been ripped to pieces. Then we played Everton, couldn't get near them in the middle. Leeds we struggled against. And then Fiorentina, with Casemiro and with Bruno, what you saw there was two players, one that couldn't run more than 10 yards without stopping for a breath, and the other one that had as much tactical discipline as Charlie's love for Jackson. Non-existent. Ridiculous. It was ridiculous. So for me, Manchester United, if they don't sort out that midfield, it will be, and I've said this on stream so many times, we will become the Newcastle under Kevin Keegan. You score 4, we'll score 5. That's what we'll have to become because teams will absolutely cut through that midfield. They will cut through without a second's thought because Ugarte, I can't believe what I'm watching with this guy. He had a decent game against West Ham and people started clipping him up and saying, this guy's back, he's this, he's that. The guy can't receive the ball from the defender's turn and make a pass because when he receives the ball, he turns, panics, and either mishits it, loses control, or just tackles someone and concedes a free kick. So Manchester United have got to get that midfield sorted because if they don't, all of this good work they've done, and it's been great work with that front three. I don't think anybody expected Manchester United to get this caliber of player in this summer. If they don't do that, it'll be for nothing, and we will be decimated.
Why is he bad now? Why is Ugarte bad now? Why has he forgotten how to play football? Because he could play football before Manchester United.
Caught the virus, mate. Caught the virus.
Yes, that's weird.
To be fair, to be partly answering that question, he was not good at PSG.
No, he wasn't.
There's a reason. Look, I remember when all the fanfare from Man United fans about getting Ugarte. Obviously, my brothers have seen to get older at PSG and has been for nearly 15 years now. That he was excited about the fact that they were selling him, and nobody in England caught on to that. All the PSG fans were delighted that they were getting rid of him, but all the Man United fans were buzzing because they looked at the name and thought that they were getting Ugarte.
We almost signed him under Poch. We almost signed him under Pochettino. Like we almost got him, and then luckily something went wrong, and he went to PSG instead.
Yeah. But he played well at Sporting.
Yeah,
he was doing really well there, but he's not been able to make the transition. So there is a bit of history there. But Rich, I'll come to you on Man United. Just your opinion. Where do you expect them to be this season? They've, as Dan has quite rightly said, they've made some heavy investment there. They've got a lot of players in that nobody on this panel would have expected them to acquire. Where do you think they should be finishing this season with the players that they've got?
It's an interesting one because, as Dan says there, you look at the strike force, and if they can get firing, then there's no reason why they shouldn't be, really strong, particularly at home. But then the midfield, like Dan said there, the defensive midfield positions, the defensive positions, they're still not quite right. And that's the issue. Like games are won, consistent games are won with good defenses. You can't always score your way out of trouble. So that's where I still can't see them getting the points needed to get into that top 5 from 15th or 16th or wherever they finished. It's a hell of a turnaround of points. So you're probably looking at 8th or something and a cup win. I think that would probably be something where I'd pitch Man United. But
I don't want to start.
That's what I would say.
I don't want to start this like shamelessness about managers, but like genuine conversation, right? Because we have to be real. Amorim showed really no signs of improvement from when he come in to the end of last season. Genuine conversation, right? At what point, if things haven't improved, do serious questions have to be asked about him? For
yes, define haven't improved. Are you saying if we're give me a position?
As in, say, coming up to Christmas, you're sort of 10th, between 10th and 12th, you're mid-table sort of thing.
Yesterday, the questions needed to be asked, mate. Not at what point. The problem is, he's so pig-headed with this formation. And I've slowly started to break Dan round. Because Dan is bang on. Me and Dan have spoken about this. That midfield, your problem in there is Bruno. Therefore, if you are going to play Bruno, then you have to have a 3-man midfield in there because he's going to go walkabouts. And that midfield cannot include Casemiro to do all the legwork there. He's too old and too slow for it. So if he wants to play Bruno, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, he's the one that said that do not sell him to Saudi when Saudi came in for the offer. He wanted him to stay. Therefore, he will be starting Bruno. You have to have 2 behind him. So you could play a 4-2-3-1, put him in the 10, or go 4-3-3 because you could put Cunha and Embuemo maybe out wide or whatever with Tesco up front. There's options there. They still need another midfielder in there. Their big problems in midfield, but the bigger problem is playing Bruno in that formation will not work. And the even bigger problem than that is the stupid Man U fans who can't see it because Bruno will get a Hollywood goal or make a Hollywood pass. But I watched your friendly the other day with my mate's Man U fan. The amount of times Bruno misplaces passes or goes for some stupid pass, they never make the highlight reels. It's just his penalty that he scores or the assist to the goal. He's a moments player. To be consistent, you either utilize him in the role that will fit him within the team and the rest will do the work around him, or you drop him.
This is the problem though, Wolfie, because Manchester United, and I'll be honest with you, it was hard in the summer because he has done, as much as he's hated, he's done so much at Manchester United. He has dragged us through so many moments where we have been on our arse. And it was a head and heart situation when that bid come in. My head said, sell him, 100 million. We should have. But my heart, the football fan in you goes, oh, but I just love him. But this is the situation that Ruben's going to find himself in this season. And he's going to live by the sword and die by the sword, unfortunately, because what he has done in signing Cunha and Brian is he has already told rival clubs how Manchester United are going to set up.
Yeah.
They know that it is going to be Bruno and someone else.
Yeah.
It won't be Mainu and someone else. It will be Bruno. And Bruno does not have the discipline to stick in his role. We have seen Bruno on the left wing, on the right wing. We've seen him drop right back. This guy doesn't have the ability, I think, to play that central midfield role. He just doesn't. Now, I think the question would be, if it does, and I'll go back to what Charlie says, if Manchester United get into December and we're 10th, 11th, we're 10 points off Europe, would Ruben Amorim then have the bottle to change it up? And unfortunately, as much as I'm going to back my manager because I'm a fan of my football club, I think he would be too arrogant to do that. And I see a lot of people, and I tell you what, I keep seeing this comment on Twitter. It keeps cropping up. Michael Carrick by Christmas. And I don't know why. I don't know why, but it keeps sticking in my head. It keeps sticking in my head. If it goes wrong, if it goes really wrong, because let's not forget, as much as I'll gas him up, and I shouldn't gas him up because last season was abysmal, he has been backed with every player he's asked for. The only player we haven't got yet is Belabor. Goalkeeper, maybe, you know, it's one of them. I want Le Mans to be fair as a goalkeeper. I think he's nice and cheap, and I think he's got potential. But he has been backed with every player he wanted. So he now, the blame culture of it's the players that we're trying to get rid of, they're no longer involved in the club. They're gone. Yeah, okay, they're doing their social media posts. Brilliant. Okay, the players are not adapting to his formation. Well, again, he's had a pre-season with them, something he was rabbiting on about for so long. I need time with these players. He has to get it right. And I will be the first person to sit here. I will take that L off everybody and say, do you know what? Yeah, back the wrong horse. But unfortunately, as we all do as football fans, we back our managers at the start of the season. We have to. We can't start the season and go, nah, we're shit. Because what's the point? What is the point? You've got to have that hope inside you. It's the hope that kills you, isn't it?
Every single one of us here should be backing our managers. The season started. I was going to war with a few Newcastle fans last summer that were blaming Eddie Howe for the summer that we had, even though we knew it was the PSR reason. We're like, they wanted him out before the season started. We said, look, let's judge him at the end of the season.
No,
let's not judge him now. And then all of a sudden, you know, these same people, and it's not any of his loaded lads. He's just other Newcastle fans.
Chris,
these same people that were caught, not even Chris, but just others. And Lord, Eddie Howe for the job that he's done, because he's got a Champions League football and he got us a trophy. And we all should be able to back our managers and go, you know what, you got a clean slate, go for it. So you're not.
But he's coming with baggage, Pete. He's coming with baggage. Let's not forget, this is a United team that haven't won back-to-back games the whole of last year in the Premier League. Now, I've just looked at your fixtures, Dan. Your first 5 fixtures, you would say that Burnley is the banker. The rest could go pretty ugly. You've got Arsenal at home, Fulham away, Burnley at home, Man City away, and then Chelsea at home. There is a scenario where you've picked up, say, 4 points from that start, and the pressure starts to build because those ones who have their doubts from the season before, that's the excuse they need.
Here's my issue, right? Here's my issue, and here's my concern with what he's going to do on Sunday. We saw him line up, regardless of Rasmus Højlund leaving the club. We know he's leaving the club, but he lined up. He chose on Saturday to line up without a striker. He chose to use Mount, Cunha, and Brian, right? He chose to do that. And from minute one, it didn't take a rocket scientist to show that those players needed a striker up there to play off, to work off. The front three rotating, it just didn't work. My concern is, because he didn't utilise Rasmus at all, I wonder if, I know they've put a friendly in this week to try and get the likes of Ananas and Fitness and Sesko playing. I think my worry is he starts on Sunday without Sesko up top with that false free. If he does that, then my concern for him is I think he'll start to lose the fans a lot sooner than he thinks, because look, he's come out and he said the right things. He has said the right things. He said something that I'm going to sit here now and I'm a United fan. I love him and I love my manager, but I call it absolute bullshit. When he comes out and says, well, if I'm not wanted here, I'll walk. Well, you won't walk, mate. You're on a multi-million-pound contract. There is no way that you will turn around and go, nah, keep it, lads, keep it. No, it just wasn't for me. Of course he's going to. So I don't take that on board. What I do take is it's going to be one way or the other with Manchester United this season. It's going to be one way or the other. It's either going to click, and I hope it does, or buckle in, lads. It's going to be another fucking bumpy ride of Dan United losing his fucking mind every other fucking week.
The other thing, Dan, is that the other thing is that you said about Fernandes not really, holding a position or not taking on all the instructions from the manager and being a bit ill-disciplined in terms of his play. Isn't Cunha a bit like that as well? Like, he's a bit of a free spirit. He pops up all over the pitch and doesn't necessarily hold a position. Yeah, so is that a little bit of a worry in terms of too many Mavericks in the team, and then who's the cover? Like if Cunha gets injured, if Mbeumo gets injured, who's Diallo? Is it or will come in? What's the situation there?
Here's something I was saying, and if there are United fans in the chat, they're probably going to fly at me because I got pelters the other night for saying this, but I think Diallo's had an absolutely horrendous pre-season. And if I was Manchester United, I would start with Diallo at right wing back. I would. I think he offers more in that position. I mean, we've had the whole thing with Diallo. He is the star boy, blah, 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 blah. But he has not looked good in pre-season. The only player, actually, there's a couple of players, but the one that has really stood out for me has been Patrick Dorgu. Patrick Dorgu has looked incredibly better. He come in last season in a team that was doing absolutely ridiculous, and he has done really well in this preseason. He looks fitter, stronger. He understands his position. The guy runs and runs and runs. And to go back to the Cunha situation, I'll be honest with you, I'm in love with that bloke. I am absolutely in love with him. If it was me, I'd have given him the number 7 shirt. I'd have took it off.
He's had a shit preseason, Dan. Take your goggles off.
I take your point, but Wolfie, the reason he's done that, you can't put it on him. You put it on the manager because he played one game in his position.
Yeah,
and
he's
then
played him up front.
His false buddy. And this is the problem. This is the worry. Manchester United, if they're thinking about, if they're even considering the first game of the season doing that again, well then shut up shop. United are fucked this season. It's as simple as that. Simple as that.
I hope so.
Let's move on because we've got a couple of other clubs we want to go to. I know there's going to be a conversation about Newcastle United at some point, so we'll have that conversation. But let's go to Aston Villa. I raised it to Billy on 12 Man yesterday. He said, nobody's really talking, Rich, about Aston Villa this summer.
Good.
I was about to say, you're probably really happy about that. But, are you concerned at all? The fact that you haven't really, obviously you've got Gessan who's just come in the door, but you haven't really invested or signed multiple players. You obviously lost the likes of Rashford and Asensio. Are you concerned that he could be on his way back? Absolutely. Are you worried that you haven't invested in your squad like other teams around that have done? Is that a concern that you go into the season and maybe be a little bit stale? So I know it's a conversation we had last night. Where were you at with Aston Villa?
I haven't watched the 12th Man, but I will watch it to see if you hammered Billy. But for me, if you'd have asked me this 2 weeks ago, I was panicking. I was worried, right? I was thinking, well, we could be losing Emi Martinez. We could be losing Ollie Watkins. We haven't signed anyone. We're trying to tie players down to contracts. There was talk of Morgan Rogers going to Chelsea and all that surrounding the club. And it was kind of some of the preseason games we were looking a little bit stale in terms of, conceding the goals that we were still conceding in that way last season and not really playing in any sort of different way. But I think because of the last week or so where we've managed to sign Gessan, who we've been after for a number of months, we've managed to settle down sort of the Watkins chat, the Martinez chat. Luka Dean signed a new contract. Multiple other players, Boubacar Kamara signed a new contract. So I think I'm much more positive about the way that we're set up now, and I still think we need another centre back. I really do. I'm worried about Konsa and Pau Torres as
we
the
can give
number
you
one
Disasi.
partnership.
Disasi back?
No,
you sure?
no, thanks. You're all right there.
Yeah.
And I still think we need another right back. I don't mind Matty Cash, but Villa fans hate him. But I don't mind him personally.
Hey, that's my boy you're talking about. So tell them to watch
I don't mind him.
Yeah, no, I'm saying tell them to watch their mouth, mate.
If I look at the way that we've managed to keep the players, and in some ways, you guys had this last season, familiarity and having a settled preseason. This time last preseason, we had players coming back at different times. Unai was trying to get rid of players that he didn't want in the squad, and he couldn't get rid of them, and he fell out with like Diego Carlos, and then he had to call them back in to play them. This season has been much more settled, and we talk about Yuri Tielemans signing a new deal. We look like we're going to sign Marco Asensio. And then on the pitch, though, when I look at the midfield options that we've got currently, Kamara, Tielemans, Onana, McGinn, Ramsey, Rogers, Daniel Marlon, Evan Gesson, you know, I'm happy with what we've got at the minute, and I think we've got up there with two of the best centre midfielders in the Premier League. So I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that.
Is Ramsey going?
He's potentially going to Newcastle, but if we got 35 to 40 million for Ramsey,
Newcastle then.
eh?
He's not going then. Every potential transfer to Newcastle.
Exactly.
He's
Yeah.
not going anywhere.
But if we were to sell Ramsey, I mean, Ramsey reminds me a bit of like a Joe Willock. Like there's always been potential there. There's a potential player there, but he never plays well for long enough in terms of a consistent period of games. He plays well for 2 games, and you can see the technique. You can see the potential there. The way he runs with the ball and he gets you territory is fantastic. But he always goes to niggly injury, or if there's certain positions where he receives the ball with his back to the defender, it's too easy to brush off the ball. Way too easy to brush off the ball, particularly away from home. So for me, I'm not hugely. And I said this right for, you know me, I said, I don't care if any of our players get sold. If with the right money comes in, I don't have any attachment to any of our players. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. So if we sell him, it's 40 million. That's straight PSR profit because he's an academy player. That means we can reinvest elsewhere. And potentially it's a Ramsey out, Asensio in, and then hopefully then we can reinforce at centre-back or potentially right-back. So, yeah. But like I say, I think we've got a good team. We've got Luca Dean or Ian Matson at left back. We've got Emi Martinez that we've managed to keep in goal. We've got Bizot, who was Champions League goalkeeper last season as well, as the backup. We've got Ollie Watkins on fire this preseason, 5 goals in his last 5 games. So we've got some good players. There's just a couple of areas that I'd like us to maybe improve if we could. But yeah, I'm happy with what we're doing at the minute.
Rich, are you winning Saturday afternoon?
I'm confident right now. Yeah, I'm confident.
At home, yeah.
Villa usually win at Villa Park, and Newcastle I'll scrub that. Newcastle always win at St James's Park.
And that's because we play out the striker. We went and play out the striker this time.
Are you playing Newcastle on Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh, fair.
Yeah, we go to Villa Park. Rich is right. We're not really great travellers. I think we won there not last season before, but obviously the 2 seasons, the one before that and this season just gone, you've absolutely demolished us. So yeah, I'm not going there with any confidence at all, just because of historically we're not great travellers to Villa Park. But any of you boys think that they could struggle for European football this season?
No, I don't think so. I'd be shocked if Villa didn't get some form of European football. There's definitely something to be said for continuity, keeping the bulk of the same group together, tying important players down to contract extensions and whatnot. But my only concern would be is kind of, have they done enough? It's fine, sort of stay. Villa, I don't know if Villa have kind of just stood still. Yes, adding Gesson, obviously good player, should make a difference. By the way, there's still 2.5, 3 weeks of the window left. If they go and do some stuff, bring some players in, then what we're saying now might look very different in a couple of weeks' time. But my concern would be, I'm not sure if they've done enough compared to the teams that they're going to be looking to compete with. If a Spurs were to get a Savio and Eze, this is the big if, by the way, but if Spurs were to get Savio and Eze, I would then look at it and think, if Villa didn't really add anyone else of decent quality, Spurs could be potentially competing with Aston Villa.
All those players have to gel, though, don't they? Sometimes you can make multiple signings and then they don't. I mean, look, I know it was the Community Shield, but I wasn't that impressed with Liverpool for the
defensively
sort of half hour, 40 minutes that I watched. And Palace look a hell of a team. I'm sorry, they look a hell of a team. Like Wharton, what a player he is! What a player! I have no idea why he's not got in the England squad. He should be the first name on the team sheet for the England centre midfield. He is a brilliant footballer, like a proper throwback footballer.
But again,
last season last season we didn't make any changes. We couldn't bring in anyone, and we went on and won Champions League and they won the League Cup. So yeah, there's a lot to be said for sticking with them, having the bulk of the squad together. But no, I do also agree with Charlie saying it would be nice to freshen it up a bit as well for Villa.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, looks like Asensio is coming in. he's kind of held out, I think, for Villa.
Is he not
to try
going
and
to
get something
Fenerbahce?
done.
No,
It hasn't been done.
That hasn't been done.
No, today it looks like he's back on with Villa. Whether it's a loan or an actual transfer, that's the thing. My only concern with Asensio is he came in and he did brilliantly first of all, and then I just get Coutinho vibes. That's my only problem with players at the 29, 30-year age, where they come in, they're brilliant for a bit, and then as soon as they get that 3-year deal, it's like, right, put my feet up now. I've got my last payday. That's my only worry with him. But
the last few games of the season, he does seem to drop off a little bit, and that's kind of what I think Villa fans maybe need to be worried about.
He had a great game he had a great game second last game against Tottenham. But yeah, I agree. There was a couple of games, certainly the cup semi-final against Palace, and one or two others. But it's away from home again, where he's got to cover the ground, cover the distance with pace. That's where he probably struggles. But still a quality player. You can't deny that. But yeah, that's my only concern.
Hopefully, we catch a cold on Saturday. I'm not holding any hope on that one. I do want to shift really quickly to Wolfie, because I know he hasn't got too much time before we talk about Newcastle to finish. But Wolfie, you got a lot of stick yesterday. You got hammered a lot, not just in the chat but live, about Forest's chances of gaining European football. There were some that were saying you're going to get relegated. There were some that were saying you get a mid-table finish. Nobody put you in the picture for European football. Have you done enough this summer to give you confidence that European football is coming back? Obviously, of course, you can win the Europa League. I think Villa will have something to say about that. But in the league, do you think you've done enough in the window to get European football through league performances? That's the question I put to you.
There's two ways to look at this. For me, no, not yet. I think we need to do more. But I think the main thing for me is that I don't think the teams below us have done better than we have. You could argue, Dan will argue for United. I think they still need that midfielder. Outside of that, I think a lot of teams have regressed. I think Bournemouth, and who's the other B team? Brentford. That's the one. They're the ones who finished below us last season. Yeah, it was Brighton and Brentford just below us. They've regressed heavily. Yeah. And I don't see out of that chasing pack who's improved. I would argue Everton have. I like what Everton are doing. And I don't think if Palace keep their players, they look good. As Rich says, I agree with him. Second half against Liverpool, they looked phenomenal. But there's too much movement now that they're in the Conference League. No one really wants to go and play on a pitch surrounded by farm animals and stuff. So I hear why they're going to leave. So I think Forest haven't done enough. But with the objectivity of only Everton, for me, really have moved the needle forward from the teams below us.
What about Spurs? If they were to get
as it stands, Spurs have only bought Kudos and Paulinho.
Yeah,
they're still going to rely on Solanke up front, Mateus Tell on the left-hand side.
Yeah,
Kulusevski's injured, Maddison's injured. They have no. I don't rate Bentancur as a consistent 8.
I agree.
I worry about their patience with Thomas Frank as well.
But if they got Savio and Eze, then it's a different conversation.
But we're talking here and now.
Yeah, right now. Yeah.
I said to you, Forest are going to get Douglas Luiz, Akliouche and stuff, then you'd say probably they have a chance of Europe. So if we're talking in the here and now, I don't think Spurs have moved the needle enough. And also, I worry about Van der Ven in a more defensive line. I think he's sus when it comes to actual defending. Where he's good at is against in a high line where his recovery pace is better. The actual art of defending, I've seen him make many mistakes. So, look, do I expect Forest to be third for most of the season like we were last year? No. But I just don't see who's going to overtake us outside of Everton.
Do you worry about, like, banter aside, like Chris Wood, obviously that was an exceptional season last year, one that he's never really done in his career before.
Yeah, I don't start him next season. Igor Jesus.
I was going to say, like, are you worried about how you're going to replace 20 Premier League goals from Chris Wood? Obviously, he's not going to.
Well, that's where Elanga fits in, mate, because I think Elanga can take a lot of credit for Chris Wood's goals.
Yeah, of course.
Because most of his 17 GA was assists. So that's where he gets the credit for me. We've got an unknown in Igor Jesus in terms of how he'll adapt to the Premier League. If he hits the ground running, we're in for a, it could be good, but it's still a risk. I think any signing is a risk, even if they're proven or not.
Are you worried about the crossover between Europe and Premier League, because you're going to be playing a lot of Sunday, Monday nights, because Thursday, Sunday, Monday? Are you worried about your squad being able to manage that over the course of the season?
The main reason why is because Nuno's done this at Wolves and was able to retain 7th, and he used a small squad. Forest are not going to go into this season with a small squad when it comes to that. Now, can Nuno do it with a bigger squad? That's probably a more objective question, but I'm not too worried about it. The main thing that gives me the most safety is my defense. I think my defense is rock solid. Even as much as Charlie wants to go on about 1 goal in 7 games, well, we had 5 clean sheets in those 7 games, so they're not leaking anything at all. So I'm not too worried about it from the defensive point of view. My thing is, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I get bored watching Forest right now. It's not that exciting to watch. So I need to see some slightly more advanced tactics in terms of attacking and everything. Apparently Nuno says he's not going to rely on playing a counter-attacking system next year. That in itself is a risk. A manager changing his whole philosophy, and it's not just a philosophy from last season, it's historically his philosophy as a manager, I think is a heavy risk, but I'm not against it because I'd like to stay awake for 90 minutes.
Absolutely. Look, boys, I'm going to finish on this one because it's all kicks off the game again.
Sorry, boys, I'm jumping over.
I know you go. Top man, Wolfie.
Cheers, Wolfie.
Not in the chat. Have them not hit the likes yet? Just double check.
They're better, Av. We've got over 300 in the chat. There'll be more coming in. Make sure you get those likes in.
Wolfie. Oh, he's gone.
He's gone. Next week.
I want to finish on this one because Alexander Isak has completely dominated Newcastle United summer for all the wrong reasons.
He wants to leave, does he?
Well, you should know that. You're the one that puts it in the chat every time it happens. Your finger's quicker than mine with regards to putting the Newcastle news in there, and I seem to be the one, or somebody else in the 12-man chat.
That's impressive.
Who puts the Chelsea number in the chat before you do. So it just shows where your mind is right now. Yesterday, Keith Downey, who reports on Newcastle, despite Liverpool's opinions, he is a Hearts fan. He's not a Newcastle fan. He just reports on North East football. And he works for Sky Sports, is a friend of our channel. He mentioned that he believes it could be increasingly likely that Alexander Isak remains at Newcastle United due to the fact that we haven't signed the replacement. Liverpool haven't put the 150 million on the table that apparently Newcastle want. What we then got today is that David Ornstein has reported that Alexander Isak is adamant he will not play for Newcastle United again, even if the window closes without his exit. There was lots of potential rumours about moving house and this, that, and the other. That's been proven to not be true. He has moved house, but that's down to something that was always planned regardless in this summer, not because of the transfer. Ben Jacobs has reported on the back of that and said more on Alexander Isak. Newcastle striker will not change his position with the window open unless Liverpool inform him that the move is impossible. Something that actually Ben Jacobs mentioned yesterday. So he's saying that until Liverpool say it's not possible this window, he will not sit down and talk through this situation with Newcastle United. So it seems like this is going to rumble on.
Can I just give my little theory on this tweet that Ornstein put out today?
Please do.
I just wonder if it was Newcastle that have put that out to say that Isak has said that he's not going to play for Newcastle again, to force Isak's hand to say, no, I will actually play. I do actually want to play. There is a road back, etc., etc. I wonder if Newcastle are trying to sort of back him into a bit of a corner to say, yes, I want to leave, actually do want to leave, like he out of his mouth, or I am actually going to stay. I just wonder if that's the because because Isak had, all the moving house stuff and all that. So much of it is just speculation. So much of it is just people putting two and two together and getting, 30. Isak hasn't actually physically said anything specifically. The training at Real Sociedad, I don't know how much that was outside of the club's control or whether that was just something, because many players go and train in the summer with an old club or with something or do something to get rehab and return.
He didn't inform me. He didn't.
Right, okay, all right, fair enough. But yeah, I just wonder whether the club have maybe done that to sort of say, you need to put your money where your mouth is here and say you want to stay or you actually do want to go, and then that obviously ostracizes himself completely from the fan base and everything like that. So I just wonder if that's something that's happened, but I don't know.
You sound like me, Rich. I was making a million excuses for him for about 4 weeks, and it just got to the final straw this week. He just took it up to another level. And I think like Sky Sports Pete, and I'm in between Sky Sports Pete and Sky Sports Charlie actually at the moment. But like you said,
did a good job. I saw you today.
It was all right. It was all right.
Debut.
But as you said, Pete, nobody's bigger than the club, and like, it's nonsense. And you're right though, Rich. He hasn't actually come out and said anything himself, but it's all agent driven. All these.
He doesn't need to say anything, does he?
He doesn't need to
his
say
action. Everyone knows exactly where his head at and what he wants. I said this to you, Pete. I think we were on Potts' channel about how, or it might have been when you joined me, like in terms of the timing of his decision. I genuinely think that, we discussed it. Had Newcastle got a Joao Pedro in, had they got an Mbeumo in, had they got a Delap, for example, in as well, maybe he would have been more inclined to give it one more year, sign a contract with a release clause, give us one more season, and then we'll let you go the following summer. I don't know if maybe he's waited until July, whenever it was, looked at, okay, only Elanga's come in, players are turning us down left, right, and centre. Actually, I want to go now. I wonder whether that was part of his thinking as well.
Charlie, I've heard from people up here, like obviously I live in the Northeast, that he actually was annoyed when he actually downed tools apparently after they won the Carabao Cup, and he was actually quite annoyed that they ended up qualifying for the Champions League because
he wanted out.
That it was more difficult for him to move. Yeah,
This is what I said to
latest.
Daz, you know this.
Yeah.
This is what I said to you the other day. Is that I would not be surprised. Now it's all come out. I said it to Daz and Chris the other day. I would not be surprised because you look at those performances. He came off really early on in that game where we weren't winning at the time against Brentford, and that was the first game after the Carabao Cup. He scored in the first half, and then there was this mysterious groin injury that he went off for, like at about 60 minutes, just as Brentford had equalised, and Tonali scored that wonder goal. He ended up winning the game, and then he played fleetingly, and he was nothing like himself. And they kept saying it was this groin injury, but he kept turning up every week and kept playing. But he didn't play against Arsenal. That was the game that could have sealed it. And with him, we'd have probably won the game. And it just makes you think now, has he just gone, nah, I'm done?
Yeah, I mean, who knows? But apparently, Wilson apparently fell out with him a bit on it and wasn't happy with Eddie Howe because he was fit and Eddie Howe kept playing Isak. I'm just saying what I've heard up here, but
yeah, it's an interesting one. But I do think like, look, this is obviously Newcastle aren't blameless. I do feel that if there'd been a CEO, there'd been a sporting director, there'd been a proper structure in place like above, that this could have been handled much, much better. It almost feels like Newcastle have been caught a little bit off guard that he wanted out this summer. I almost feel like perhaps they've taken it for granted that he was definitely going to stay this summer. They didn't really put any plans in place. It's almost like, for looking in, you obviously know better than me, but looking in, it feels like it's almost taken him a little bit by surprise that he's wanted out.
But this is the thing, and I want to get Dan's opinion on this as well. But this is the thing, Charlie, is that it's only just now that they're now talking about, and it's coming through David Ornstein and various other, Fab Romano as well, that apparently he told them a year in advance that he wanted to leave. He told them after the Carabao Cup, and he told them 2 weeks before the season ended. But he sat there for the promotional stuff with the new kit. There's been countless videos put out since the Carabao Cup final where with Newcastle on international duty, talking about how happy he is at the club and how.
Well, even at the parade as well, Pete. He looked delighted at the parade, didn't he? When the open top bus parade for the cup, he looked delighted.
It's not looking delighted, Charlie. It's the fact that he's verbally saying these things. If he really wanted out, he wouldn't be sitting in these interviews. He wouldn't be having these conversations. And if he is, he's made a monumental mistake because it looks bad on him. And I agree with you, Charlie. I think Newcastle United came out 2 days ago and they made it clear. They were like, we were not aware of any of this. We had the full intentions of discussing a new contract with him. This is what we've been told. Daz, we've been talking about this for 6 months now, that it was going to be a case of in the summer, once we've done our business, that we're going to give him the contract that he should have had last summer. And that was down to Paul Mitchell because he's the one that told him no. And he can be annoyed at that, but he's no longer at the club anymore. That this was the plan all along. So it does look like it's a shock for Newcastle United as a club that he's now decided to do this. And if he did want to go, why has he not had that conversation before? And it's like it's almost snowballed once the Epitike to Liverpool came about, and it's like that almost seems like it's too late. But Dan, what's your take on it? Because I know you and Charlie have been very vocal in the 12-man chat about this with regards to Alexander Isak. You're always one of the first or seconds to jump in on this. So come on,
well, welcome to the club, Pete. Welcome to the club. We've all been there. Every club's been here where we've had a star player who we have absolutely adored, fallen in love with, and they've wanted to leave the club. And unfortunately, you'd think that with the way that things are going here, that he'd have give you the season in the Champions League. You'd have thought that that'd have been okay. We'll do that, and then if it doesn't work out, I'm still young enough to get that big move. But the problem with footballers nowadays, Pete, is especially the big players are told they're the best players, and they're told they're the best players by the agents, by the people around them. And they have their heads filled day in, day out about, you should go to Liverpool. You could be a Champions League winner, a Premier League winner. They have their heads filled with it. I personally don't enjoy it for you. I genuinely don't, because as I said, I was there with Ronaldo. I was there with Beckham. It hurts because these are the people that you love the most. But unfortunately, and as if I can be as frank as possible with it, Pete, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, Newcastle United will be here a long, long time after Isak is. And if you've got the right ideas, if you've got the right manager, which I believe you have, if the people in the background are trying to do what they want to do, then do you know what? He'll go. It'll hurt. It's like a relationship. The first 6 weeks afterwards, you'll be pining, you'll be upset. But then do you know what? The days get easier and you'll just go, yeah, okay, done with that. On to the next one. Newcastle's plan does not evolve around Isak. You have got a big enough team here. You've got the potential to bring the right players in. I would just now make it as I know it sounds horrible. I'd make it as hard and as horrible for this guy to leave the club as possible. Leave it until the last day if needs be. Get the person in that you want. Even if you get a striker in right now, I'd still dig your heels in and say, no, you can sweat. We're not sure if we want to get rid of you. We're not sure if anyone can afford you yet. Yes. Leave it until deadline day. Leave it till deadline day, because the other thing, remember as well, where he goes, wherever he goes, this guy hasn't had a pre-season yet. This guy has been sat there. Okay, he's been training in Sociedad. He's been doing this. He's been doing that. But I'd honestly, for me, football moves on. Newcastle United will be there long after this guy goes. This guy will be a distant memory of a good time that happened. After that, the rest is history.
Do you think it's just like, coming in on that, Dan? Sorry, Charlie. It's that, like, you give an example of Beckham and Ronaldo. They went to Real Madrid off to the Liga. I remember when Man United, when Liverpool tried to get Heinze off you guys, you shut that down. That was not happening. But it isn't a Real Madrid. It's only Liverpool.
But you say it's only a Liverpool, though, Daz. But Liverpool at the moment are probably at the same level where Real Madrid were there. Liverpool are looking like, if you watch wrestling, they are final boss mode. They have got everything they need to do an assault on every competition this season. And look, if they get Isak, fuck, that's all I'm going to say. It's game over for everyone.
They're more Cody Rhodes. They're more Cody Rhodes. Final boss is Real Madrid. Final boss.
No, fair. But
Cody Rhodes.
I will say this. You mentioned Gabriel Heinz and United shut that down. Well, United would always have had to shut that down, Daz, because that was Liverpool United. There was no way we could ever allow a player to go there. And it's weird because your two teams, I mean, you had some corking games. I remember some of my favourite memories of growing up as a football fan, not a United fan, a football fan, was that Newcastle against Liverpool game. The infamous, picture, and I'm not saying this to get the fans upset here, the Newcastle fans, but, when the fifth goal goes in and Keegan's hands are over the boy, can't believe that was football, and that's the football I think a lot of us are sort of similar age that we grew up and just adored. Other than that, I don't see them as your rivals. And I don't think, and quite rightly so, I don't think you should see him as rivals. Let him go there. Let him sweat there. Move on with it.
The only thing is we have to look at them every week.
The replacement is the thing, isn't it? If you knew you had a suitable replacement or someone to get behind or someone to get excited about, then that would be fine. I wonder if this is, and I know he's doing like multiple jobs at the same time, but I wonder if there's a little bit of a bit of a too niceness about Eddie Howe. Like, I just wonder if other managers would have stamped their feet and just shut it down straight away and just stopped all the conversation behind. I don't know how easy it is now.
But he has to be careful, though, Rick. He has to be careful because he still has to come across for future players that are coming to this club. Yeah. He cannot act like an arsehole and go, do you know what? Fuck that guy. He won't play for this club again. I don't care. He still has to do. And by the way, I'll say this.
I just mean before it was getting to this point.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I think Eddie Howe throughout all of this has acted with nothing but decorum. I think he has been absolutely top class with the way he has done this, because we've seen it with my manager. My manager came out at the end of last season and said these 5 players won't come again. It's completely ruined us trying to sell them. Eddie Howe could have done that. He could have come out and said, no, that's it, he's done. So I think Eddie Howe's done everything. And actually, I'll say this. I feel sorry for Eddie Howe because, Daz, you made a comment before about, well, we've done it before with, no signings and this, that, and the other. You can't as supporters, and the board can't expect Eddie Howe to pull rabbits out the hat every season, because one season it's going to go wrong. And the first person that they will blame, not the fans, the ownership, will be Eddie Howe. That's what they'll do. They'll use Eddie Howe as that buffer to get rid of him and say, well, Eddie gave everything. He did his best, and we wish him well in the future. That's
he might, Dan. He might walk before that, because if they don't give him a striker, if they don't, like he was falling out with the board last season, and this is another point. Without the director of football that you need these days, without the leadership at the top of the club,
there's nothing there.
It's difficult for Eddie Howe.
It's done though. The CEO and the sporting director, they're all but officially announced.
Right.
Is it David Hopkinson, previously CEO at Real Madrid? It is the CEO that's going to be taking over the club. Ross Wilson of Forest, we've took their sporting director. That's not going to be done until I think after the window. I think obviously there's some form of official handover or official lead that has to happen. So they are in place, but they're not in place for the important moment, which is this window. Because those people, you're absolutely right, Charlie and Rich and Dan, for what you've said, is that we haven't had that leadership that's been able to oversee that situation. Because when this situation with Ekatike and Isak started, that's where your CEO comes to the fore. That's where your sporting director comes in and says, right, this is the plan. This is what we're going to do. And this is how we're going to action it. And Eddie Howe's had to front that up. The only question mark I had on Eddie Howe was that situation with Celtics. I thought that handled really poorly. But actually, what it comes down to now is that he's just refused to play and refused to be involved. So that's actually not Eddie Howe's fault. And actually, what Eddie Howe's done is still protected him, even when he had no right or no need to protect the man. He still protected him all through this. But what I will say, Rich, is that speaking to players that have played with him and been managed under him, is that although he comes across very well-spoken and very
he's
behind the scenes, these players have said you see a side that nobody in the media and no fan ever sees a part of. And you can see
Fair
sometimes
enough.
in the way that he speaks, particularly in his press conferences out in Singapore, in Hong Kong, there is times where you can see that he genuinely looks pissed off.
Yeah,
I can see him being quite pointed.
Of course
Yeah.
he would be. Of course he would be. Just very quickly on this, right? Obviously, Isak, well, he's gone this summer, if not definitely next summer, but probably this summer. How big a blow is that for the project in terms of the Newcastle project and moving forward? Like, if Isak goes, do you worry that players like Gordon might think twice? I mean, Bruno, I know Bruno's kind of cemented himself as a bit of a legend at Newcastle, but how does that look for the project moving forwards? The star man wanting out and obviously moving on.
Interesting. Yeah, no. It does. That was my worry initially as well, as ours is going to creep into Tonali wanting out, and Gordon, who. But I think Gordon says for this season at least, he's putting the head down, and he's going headband on, and off he goes. He wants to get into that World Cup squad. Yeah, we need an adequate replacement, and you folk or two strikers that can cover the goals that Isak would do, because we're not going to get a like-for-like replacement for Isak at this stage. So, but yeah, and we'll have to, whatever we do this summer, we'll have to build it. Maybe we bring in someone and then we move them out again after 18 months or something like that. So it's a temporary kind of a switch in. But big questions there, and there's a lot more questions, Charlie, as well on the project. When it comes to the owners and how invested they are in everything, stadium, training ground, blah 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 blah. There's loads of different things like that. So a lot of question marks on that. But I think we'll take them as the season progresses. We have to concentrate on what to the end of the window for now.
The one thing I'll say on that is that before all this came about, I would have said, yeah, I think the players, Tonali, Bruno's, Botmans will be looking at this going, man, this ain't good. This isn't right. Like 3-4 weeks ago, I think I would have had that worry about that situation. But just what I've heard from multiple different people who have various different connections, but also looking at Isak and how he's behaved over these last 3 or 4 weeks, I think the players are looking at him and going, "You're an idiot. You're an idiot for why are you doing this? We get that you want to leave." Gordon wanted to go to Liverpool last summer. He thought he'd got his move.
It was agreed, wasn't it?
And to be fair, it was affected for the first half of the season. He got his new contract though. He signed, but you look at him now, and you hear about how he's speaking now about the club. He is. You can't see a more committed player to Newcastle United than Anthony Gordon right now. The way he's speaking about that situation. Now, the one thing I'll say on that, just really quickly, the one thing I'll say on that is that I actually look at that and I don't think the players are worried about the project in this. I think they're just looking at a player that looks a little bit petulant, that's acting like a child, that's threw his toys out the pram because he's not got what he wanted. And I think an element of that is probably what Isak's thinking too, because this is, look, I've pushed on the agent quite a lot because I think this has been massively agent-led here. But as well as that, Isak is responsible because he's allowed this situation to happen. But I think he's allowed this situation to happen because I feel like he's had to double down on this situation. Because I think if he had stepped back sooner, I think he would have felt like he'd have looked like an idiot at that point. He's going to look even more like an idiot now. So he's almost having to double down, which is making him look worse. I think his reputation's took a massive hit, regardless of whether he goes to Liverpool or not. His reputation will not be seen in football the same. Whether he cares about it or not is up to him. But he will not be seen as the same in world football now because of how petulant and how immature he's acted in this situation. He's going to be 26 in September. He's certainly not acting like it. Like with all due respect, Dan, I expect this from a Garnacho, a young lad that's immature, that doesn't know or hasn't got the right advisement around him. But this guy's 25 years old. I expect better from him.
Do you know what it is, though? I'll tell you something that's changed in the game. Something that's changed in the game, and I'll say this quick because I do need to bounce. Something that's changed in the game massively is, do you remember back in the days where you could not speak to another player until the clubs had agreed a fee? Now, you see it all over the bloody internet. Terms agreed. Players agreed. Agents agreed to do this, that, and the other. Unfortunately, because these rules have been relaxed, Now Liverpool can get in there. Now they can unsettle him. Now he can have people going to him and saying, you need to go. This is the best move for you. I just honestly think the best thing that you could do now, right? And I mean this, is this season back up that Carabao Cup trophy with an FA Cup, something like that is going to make your fans absolutely adore the group of players you have. Because, like I said, and someone put a chat on there a second ago, and I had to laugh. I wouldn't want to be Isak when he plays against you lot with Joe Linton. I would not want to be nowhere near that guy. I'm telling you, Joe Linton is going to chase that guy around the field for 90 minutes. It wouldn't surprise me if once he goes that he's injured for that game. But make no mistake about it, I think the way the club have acted from your part, I think you've done everything spot on with him. I really do. You have showed here, and I think it's great because you do have the money. You ain't going to be bullied. And Charlie and I can come in the chat and we can banter you, Pete, because from our point of view, we listened to you for last season saying he ain't going anywhere. He's invested, it's that. And again, I'm not going to mock you for that because I've been there with Ronaldo. I've been there with Beckham, as I said. You don't think these players are going to go. They seem happy. But, mate, honestly, forget about this fool. Get the big money for him, forget about him, and move on. And as I said, you guys will be fine. You guys will be fine. Put it this way. I would much rather be in your position without Isak at the moment than we are. I would, because you've still got the squad playing the exact way they should be. You've still got the cohesion in the team that you need. There are so many question marks in my team. We know what we're getting with Eddie Howe.
There's a question for Rich before he goes, because I know Rich and Dan have.
Can I just ask Dan? Sorry, Daz, 1 second. Can I ask Dan really quickly before he goes? Prediction for Arsenal at the weekend. Big game opener just before you go, mate.
Do you know something? I want to have my realism head on. I want it so bad. But I'm so excited for the start of this season that I'm just going to go 2-1 United. 2-1 United. I think the meltdown of Arsenal fans, if United beat them, by the way, will be glorious. It will be glorious. So the dream scenario, Sesko, 95th minute, runs past Gyökeres, have some of that, and off we go. That would be the dream scenario. But guys, thank you so much for having me on. Much appreciated. I've got to go because I've got to jump on mine. I'll catch you all on the flip side, though.
Nice one, mate.
Nice one, Dan.
Subscribe to Dan United. Will be. I imagine we'll be redirecting to Dan United. Who will be
we're redirecting to Dan. Rich, question, because a few people have asked it, and I know you give some of your opinion on Ramsey here. So Jacob Ramsey to Newcastle, if that was to happen, what could he bring to Newcastle? I suppose.
Well, he's got really good ability driving with the ball. As I said earlier, he can get your territory because he's one of those players who's faster dribbling with the ball than he is running without the ball. You get those type of rare players who can, like I say, look faster running with the ball than they do without the ball. So he's got that ability to him, and he's clearly got really good potential. He's good at picking up the ball on that sort of inside left channel, cutting inside on his right foot, and then bending it into the goal. He's just he flatters to deceive at times. That's the only problem. You really want him to be able to grab the game by the scruff of the neck and dictate the game, in terms of that beating a man and that pace and that kind of running with the ball ability. But he just doesn't do it enough for me. And he's kind of feel like he's always got a little bit more left in the tank than he gives. He does get quite a few niggly injuries. So when you feel like he's getting some momentum and really picking up, then unfortunately for him, he'll pick up an injury and then he'll be out for 3 or 4 games. So if you can keep him fit and you can get him firing, he'll be a really good player. But I just think you'll be slightly at all times with Jacob Ramsey, slightly underwhelmed with how he is, because you always think there's a little bit more that he can give, whether that be goals, whether that be, like I say, he's dictating the game, whether that be beating a man, whatever it is, you'll feel that there's a little bit more to come from him, and he just never quite gets there. He's kind of split opinion with Villa fans. There's lots of Villa fans that are like, absolutely not, we can't get rid of him. But I don't know whether that's more like a sentimental thing, like because he's come through the club, because he's he's been an academy player. But for me, if 40 million is offered and whatever, I would, and we knew we could reinforce it because of the PSR situation, because of what you can then offset against that on your accounts, because it's 100% profit. I think it's a good deal to do. But yeah, I'd want to keep him. Don't get me wrong, but if a good offer comes in, I'd let him go.
Interesting. We'll see how that
play on Saturday.
materializes. We are in talks with him at the moment, as we said. David Ornstein.
What West Ham are interested, I believe, and then, but well, the word is that he obviously he would do, but the word is he prefers Newcastle. But yeah, we'll see. I'd just be interested to know if it's Ramsey out, Asensio in, and then if we could then reinvest that into a reinforcements in at right back and centre back, then I'd be happy with that. I really would, but that's my only thing.
Yeah, we'll wait and see.
And there's a super chat in as well. Sorry, switching topic here.
Okay.
It's from my mate Smithy. Smithy says Daz really hates Liverpool. Yes, I do, because I get abuse from you and everyone else in that chat group on. But cheers, Smithy, for the super chat.
I'm not going to ask you your prediction, Rich, just because I know we're going to wrap up now. But I'm hoping you might be available for a match preview later on. This week.
I might not. I might not. I'm actually on holiday after tomorrow, but I might be able to. But I might be able to lend you a couple of other Villa Park pods.
Give us your match prediction then.
Okay, match prediction. Let me. If had you got everything sorted with the squad and stuff, then I think it is going to be a tough game. And our first game of the season, you can never read too much into it, as happened when you beat us 5-1 at St James's, and then we ended up finishing fourth. But I am going to be confident and say Villa will win 3-1.
Fingers crossed we have a striker in the ranks, because tonight it's just been reported that Bournemouth are set to sign their striker. Adil is coming to Bournemouth apparently, so that will unlock Johan Wieser. So fingers crossed we have Johan Wieser on the bench, so that might help us a little bit. But we'll wait and see. We won't give our predictions, Daz. We'll wait for the match preview. No. Charlie, you got Palace.
Palace on Sunday.
Right? What are we thinking?
Be tough. It'll be a tough game. I don't think Gerhi and Eze will be gone between now and Sunday. I'd be very, very surprised if that was the case. Difficult game. We didn't beat Palace last season. We drew both games. They've kept hold of their team so far. I think we'll win 2-1, but it'll be a tough game. They're a decent side, and it'll be a lot more difficult than people expect. I think we just got enough to sneak past them.
Be an interesting one. There's expectations there that you'll win that one, but we'll wait and see. Boys, been a great show. Great first one back. Great to see you all, and great to be talking to you all again. Whether we'll be so pleasant with each other after this weekend from next week remains to be seen. But Charlie, great to have you on. Make sure you all subscribe to Blue Brothers CFC. If you haven't checked out Charlie on Sky Sports today, brilliant interview on Sky Sports today. Great to have your debut on there, and spoke really, really well. So top man for you for that. Make sure you go and watch Villa Park Pod. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe to them. I believe you're doing something now, Rich.
Yeah, we're doing our 25-26 season predictions. So bit of a fun one. So yeah, anyone join in, please do jump over 9:30 start.
Absolutely. Dan United is live now as well. Make sure you go and tune in to him as well. You got Together BHA with Adam, and of course Forest Fans TV with Wolfie. We will be back.
Don't check them out.
Yeah, I was gonna say
don't check them out.
if they lose, you can check them out.
Yeah, definitely if they lose. Yeah,
that's Charlie, by the way. That's come from Charlie. Go check out all the boys and their channels. Make sure you subscribe. And of course, subscribe to Loaded Mag NUFC. And Daz will be back for more next week.
We sure will. Stay in the chat, and he'll be redirected to Dan and make. But we'll give them a word for Dan as the raid happens, Pete.
Oh yeah, what
put you on the spot? I know.
There's only one United.
There's only
NUFC.
one United.
There we
Nice
go.
one. Right. See you in the next one. Have a good one.
Day and night, I toss and turn, I keep stressing my mind. I look for peace, but see I don't attain what I need for keeps this silly game we play. Now look at this, madness the magnet keeps attracting me. I try to run, but see I'm not that fast. I think I'm first, but surely finish last. Cause day and night, the lonely stoner seems to free his mind at night. He's all alone through the day and night. The lonely loner seems to free his mind at night. At night. Hold the phone. The lonely stoner.